Welcome to Top Tier Wrestling, your ultimate destination for all things AEW and WWE. Whether you're a hardcore wrestling fanatic or just a casual viewer, we've got you covered with the latest news, in depth show reviews, and our unfiltered opinions on everything happening in the world of professional wrestling. Join us as we dive into the high octane action, dramatic storylines, and backstage buzz of AEW and WWE. Get ready to step into the ring with us and stay on top of the wrestling world. This is Top Tier Wrestling. Welcome to the Top Tier Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, the greatest of all time, the never seen 17, Don Cena. Joined as always by the That's right. Joined as always by the phenomenal one, the face that runs the place, the champ that runs the camp. Bitch, I forgot about that one. Josh Styles. And we're here talk about the electrifying PLE that was Crown Jewel taking place in Perth, Australia. Folks, let's get into it.
Hell yeah. The never seen 17, Don Cena. What can I say here at the beginning? As you mentioned, this is taking place in Perth, Australia, and wow. Wow.
Wow.
This was especially after WrestlePalooza, which was bad.
Oh,
This was a breath of fresh air, a return to form for the WWE, and what I hope is the standard going forward.
Yeah.
I believe we were talking earlier, and you made a very good point. I believe we're seeing the difference when WWE has a planned PLE that they've had for a while. It's coming.
Yeah.
We knew it was happening. Versus a counter programming reaction that produces things like WrestlePalooza.
Yeah.
That said, Crown Jewel was firing on all cylinders. It was very, very good. And the action starts straight off the bat with Big Bronson Reed, the Ozilla, out there with Paul Heyman versus the one, the only, the tribal chief, Roman Reigns. And what were your thoughts on this match? Oh, by the way, the match type is an Australian street fight, which is just like any other street fight. It just takes place in Australia.
Yeah. With at least one member of the match being Australian. I think those are the rules. So, like, at least one person needs to be Australian and needs to take place in Australia. Australia!
Down under.
Jesus Christ. All right. Any hoozle, I thought this match was a fantastic opening. At first, I was a little. I didn't. I don't know. I didn't expect for this one to be the opener, but it made sense for this one to be the opener because we're talking about Roman Reigns. He's probably like, listen, guys, can we get this over with? I'm in Australia. I want to take my lady out. I want to take my children out somewhere. We got stuff to do. I'm a very busy man. So he was like, can we get this shit over with, please? But this match was. I felt like it was kind of a crucial match for Bronson to win. I felt like he needed to win this match. Again, yes, we all know that this is like planned, that these are planned matches, that it's all fake. We fucking know. But aside from that, as far as the kayfabe is concerned, I kind of felt like Bronson had to be the victor of this match, just like Seth needed to win his match later in the night. I felt like Bronson needed to win his, only because if he didn't, then he would end up being what I would consider the weakest link in this group, and I don't think this group
The
needs
wink.
a weak. Yeah, yes. I don't think this group needs a wink. Um, so it was kind of like it was kind of hella important, and I kind of felt like I don't know. I mean, I know that there is apparently pressure on Seth at this point in the show to win his match, and I know that that's what they were harping on from jump, but I kind of feel like all that pressure that people were applying to Seth, I was kind of feeling for Bronson because honestly, he needed to win his match, or else then he would end up becoming the clown, the joke of the faction. Could you imagine um, him losing his match, Seth winning his, and then he's gotta be uh, uh, partners with Brock or Breaker after that? God, that would
Yeah,
be
yeah,
that would have been very lopsided. Um,
yeah.
but not. I mean, he could have won this, and it would have just been like, oh, squash, or he could have won this, and it was like, oh, goofy. It was a goofy win. It was a one off. It could have been like that. Thankfully, and in my opinion, I felt that it needed to be kind of needed to be definitive. It needed to be him looking good, him looking strong for most of the match, and I felt like that's what he did. Him, Bronson, and Roman work very well together. I don't know if they like each other outside of the ring, and we all know that sometimes wrestlers just don't, but they still work together very well. The chemistry is still there. Um, and that's kind of magical, kind of like with Bret Hart and oh my god, my brain went completely.
Shawn Michaels.
Thank you so much. Yes, I was about to be like the Heartbreak Kid. Um,
That would be accurate too.
yeah, but that's it. That's all I had. 'Cause my brain was like crickets, crickets. Um, but yeah, I mean, like they may not necessarily like each other, but the chemistry in the ring was good. It was there. And this could be the same thing with these two. I don't think so though. I think that they are probably beyond cordial whenever they're outside of the ring or whenever they're working together or talking about what they need to do. I don't think that there's any hostility there. It looks good in the ring. They perform well, and I feel like Bronson is he's a great. Well, he takes bumps well, but he also he's a great support system. Like I don't think I've seen him in this match. I don't think I saw him leave Roman hanging. If there was a jump, if there was something that needed him to be there to catch, to bounce off of, to essentially protect, he was there. And I mean, I don't blame him. I would be scared shitless if I was in the ring with Roman Reigns. I'm like, I don't want to damage this product, or they will have my ass for it. I would not want to be that guy. I would not want to be that guy. Um,
Yeah, no,
I'm
I agree.
I'm in a match at Roman and I end up breaking his collarbone. Oh God, that's the end of my career. So yeah, um, he did a real good job there. This match was overall entertaining. Roman always looks good. At one point, my man even grabbed the mic to say some shit like, like, like from jump. Australia was getting their money's worth, and like they were eating it up. Everything that happened, they were eating it up. Um, but honestly, back to this match. It was honestly, but seriously, back to this match. It was a really good opener. Um, and I feel like it went the way it should have gone. I feel like the storytelling was strong there, and there's even more storytelling to be had. Um, I There was interference. If I'm sure you guys already know, because I'm pretty sure the people who are listening to
What?
this probably have
In
already
a street
seen.
fight?
Yeah, yes, there was interference, but it was a okay because it was an Australian street fight. Um, and as we know, only one person needs to be Australian. We had that, so everything was fine. Everything else was cleared. There was interference, and that's exactly the interference that happened is exactly what I expected. I know Roman didn't want any help, but I knew that the Usos would come out. I also knew that we were going to see uh Breaker. Um, yeah, Braun Breaker because it's Breaker. Um, and I mean, he's going to come out because he's a part of, the Vision. But none of the interferences that took place took away from the match itself. It didn't take away from Bronson looking dominant when he needed to. It didn't take away from any of the moves, any of it didn't take away from anything in the match. It didn't make Roman look weak. It didn't make Braun or Bronson look weak. I thought the interferences that did take place were done at the right times. It wasn't like I feel like if we had gotten maybe 5 minutes into the match, just 5 minutes, and then there was an interference, then I would have been, I think, probably a little bit more annoyed because I'm like, I already know how this match is going to go, so I'm gonna have to sit here for 15 minutes and watch basically a big group fight, which I wanted to see what Bronson was gonna do with Roman, and I got to see that, and then we got interferences. But long story short, for me, I thought this was a great opener, um, with great storytelling. And it's got even more storytelling at the end of the match. Like I feel like they're gonna have content from the Usos and Roman, and basically from the Bloodline, well into the future. They could keep this train going for many years to come. Um, they really could. I don't think they are. I don't think they want to, but they could. They could keep milking the Bloodline cow. They could keep doing that. Um, yeah, but overall, great opener.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. I felt like this was a solid match, and as you mentioned, while there was some interference that occurred, it didn't happen until after Reed and Reigns had given us like a full match worth of a fight, and it was a really good kind of back and forth between them. In fact, there were several parts where Reed looked like he just had Reigns on the ropes,
Yeah,
but ultimately it got to the point where it looked like Reigns was fixing to win, and that's when Breaker interferes. Um, and I feel like that is okay because Reed had already put in a good match with Roman Reigns.
yeah,
Reed is fantastically talented. I feel like he's been underrated for a little while. But they've got him back on top. And to give him any kind of win, even if it's, oh, well, it was some interference in a street fight over Roman Reigns, who, as the announcers pointed out, hasn't been, that's only like the second time he's been pinned in a effectively one-on-one match in like 4 years. That's a big accolade.
yeah,
And I agree, Reigns and Reed seem to work very well together. I don't know if that's because these guys get along super well outside of the ring or if they're just both really good wrestlers. Because Reed is almost without any weaknesses as a professional wrestler. I would say the only ding against him might be how shallow pro wrestling can be about how you look on screen, right? Because he's a big dude.
yeah,
But otherwise, he performs solidly in the ring. He's very good. He must be very careful because they keep putting their top talent. They put Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins. I mean, all their top guys are in there getting tsunamied like 1,000 times. That means he must be doing his job with incredible trust and safety. Um, and they're just great. Like Reed is fantastic on the mic when he's allowed to cut promos. He rises to the occasion for big spots like he did here. He's great. He's fantastic.
yeah,
I think he is a total package of a professional wrestler. Um, he's got a good look. I love the jacket that he came to the ring in with the red spikes. The Ozilla moniker and the Tribal Thief is really catchy. He's also got a great entrance theme. We mentioned that on the last podcast that like the mixed theme between him and Braun Breakers can screw off. Just play just play Bronson Reed's.
Yeah.
Um, so I think maybe they're good buddies. I mean, he's been working with the Bloodline pretty closely all the way since back Survivor Series, so maybe they all do get along. But it could also just be that Reigns is a longtime veteran and Reed is incredibly talented, so they just naturally can work well together.
Yeah.
I have to assume at this stage in his career, Roman can kind of have a lot of pull. I mean, I know they always say, these guys don't have that kind of stroke, whatever. But I mean, when you're someone like Roman who basically makes limited appearances, I imagine you get to decide which ones are worth your time. And he
I
clearly wants to
mean,
spend some time with Reed.
yeah, I would hope that he would, but what do I know? But I mean, I would hope that would be the case. It would just make a lot more sense to give him more of a say. I mean,
Yeah.
he's the champ.
Well, if nothing else, even if he's not directly saying it, they're like, well, we only get Roman this many times. We got to make it count. So, in that regard, as a guy who makes limited appearances, they got to decide where and when and with whom they want him to make them. And they've decided that Reed is a good choice. And, the vision looks strong here. I mean, Braun Breaker kind of sells himself, as being like a super athlete. He's a son of a Steiner. Like, there was never any doubt that he was going to go over. And so it's nice that they're focusing on like, let's get Reed on that level because I mean, Reed can do it. So
Yeah.
I'm really happy to see that the vision is not just like Seth and two henchmen. It is a stable of champions. And that really showed here. It was a great match, and then the interference occurred. Basically Roman Reigns had Superman punched Reed a couple of times and was going to go for the spear, but Reed had the presence of mind to roll out of the ring. And so Roman's like, okay, well, let's go for this wraparound spear. And then as he was wrapping it around, Braun Breaker jumped over the barricade and speared him in turn. So Roman gets demolished there, and then shortly thereafter, they're setting up Roman to like really trash him, and that's when Jimmy and Jay come out, despite the fact that Roman had told them expressly not to. And for a bit there, it looked like they might be turning the tables, and then Reed is attempting to hit his massive Death Valley driver. What's he call it? The Jagged Edge. He was
Yeah.
trying to hit Jagged Edge on Reigns, and Reigns counters back on his feet. And they're both near the corner, and Reed kind of gets out of the way as Jay attempts to spear him, and Jay instead inadvertently spears the bejesus out of Roman Reigns. And then I believe Breaker speared Jay, taking him out of the picture, which allowed Breaker to take Reigns kind of over to the corner where Reed was able to hit the tsunami and pick up the victory. And so after the match, you have Reigns reading the Usos kind of, the riot act on how they screwed up. This only works one way. And I believe that one way is if you listened to Roman. And so Jimmy and Jay basically came out to help Roman, screwed up. And then Roman said, man, I love you guys, but I don't want to see you till Christmas. So, and then Jimmy and Jay are left in the ring, and Jay's like, you know what? We come out to help him. He's still, mad at us. So, forget it. And that sentiment kind of carries over later. When, Jimmy and Jay are talking, and Jay's like, Roman only looks out for Roman. Maybe we should start doing the same. So this match accomplished three things. One, it was a really good match, a really good opener. It advances that the vision is strong, and Bronson Reed looks dominant here against Roman Reigns, and it also pushes forward this sort of dissension in the ranks storyline that's happening with the Usos and Roman in the Bloodline.
Yeah.
And so I thought it set out to do several things. It nailed all of them. Excellent match.
Yep. I agree. But I already said that.
But the action does not stop there. With that hot opener, they move us immediately into the Women's Crown Jewel Championship match. And this is between Tiffany Stratton, the Women's SmackDown World Champion, and Stephanie Vaquer, the Raw Women's World Champion, and to find out who is in fact the superior champion. And what was your take on this one?
Um, you know what? I'm gonna say that first of all, I thought it was gonna be good, but I thought it was gonna be good basically because Stephanie Vaquer was in it. And that's not to say that Tiffany isn't a good wrestler, but Tiffany, in my opinion, in my opinion, and take that for whatever it may be, in my opinion, she does not do well under pressure. Um, and it shows sometimes in the ring. It definitely shows when she's on mic. When she's doing like an interview, when she's doing cutting a promo, having an interview with somebody else, it doesn't matter. She kind of cracks under that pressure, and she just ends up saying, like, you could tell that there is lots of tension there whenever she's doing something like that. And I kind of feel like she does that sometimes when she's in the ring. And for me, that was no exception this match. Now, this was a good match, but I went back and when we were watching it, I was highly amused or invested in the match because it ended up becoming really, really good. But after reviewing it, it was really, really good because of Stephanie. I saw it at least two times, and I wish I knew the moves like you do. I mean, I know some of them, but not as well as Josh here. Um, by name, that is, by name. I know when something looks weird or when something looks off because I've seen them perform these moves, whether I know the name or not. I've seen wrestlers perform them for years. So whenever I see one that looks weird or looks off, then even I don't have to know the name to know that it looks off or it was done awkwardly or something like that. And Tiffany gave me at least two of those situations where she did something and I was like, what? Okay, what was that supposed to be? um because I feel like, again, I feel like Tiffany feels the pressure and it shows. And I don't know with, and I know this has nothing to do with the match per se. This is just my critique of Tiffany as a wrestler. I don't know if she's ready for the belt right now. I feel like they put the belt on her too soon. Um, it was like she came into WWE, to the women's division, and and people just lost their shit because they were like, "Oh my god, another female wrestler who can semi wrestle. She does a flip like Charlotte Flair. She's like Charlotte Flair." Like, I kind of feel like people just lost it from there. Um, and gave her all kinds of accolades that I'm not sure she quite. It's not that she doesn't deserve them, but I don't know if she's really prepared for them yet. I'm not sure she's really prepared to be a champion and hold the belt because she just seems to crack under pressure. And I think she was doing a little bit of cracking in this match in Perth. But overall, this was a really good match. Stephanie stayed on theme. She stayed on track, and even when a move looked flubby or awkward, she kept going. And that is not to say that I expect every single wrestler to perform 110% every single time. These people just got off of a fucking plane, 17, 18, 19, 20 hours, probably all kinds of exhausted. Um, by the time they got there, fuck if I know what time it was. They could have left at like 6 p.m. and showed up there at like 3 in the morning or 6 in the morning 2 days later. Who the fuck knows? So they're probably
Yeah,
all kinds of tired.
jet
I'm not
lagged as
expecting.
hell.
Yeah, I'm not expecting for these. I'm not expecting for any wrestler to be 120% every single time. I expect humans to be humans, and I expect to see errors every now and again. And I'm not knocking a wrestler for that. I'm saying that whenever I see Tiffany under any type of stress, that's when I see her screw up. She either says something that she shouldn't say, or she does something in the ring that looks clumsy. And it's that kind of stuff, like those kind of nerves will get you injured. And I'm not talking
Yeah.
about just like some, oh, well, but ankle, I'll be back in 2 or 3 months. No, I'm talking about fucking injured. You want to end your career quickly? Then go into the ring, have some doubt, have something else on your brain while you're throwing someone in the air when you should be focused 100% on the task at hand. That's how you end up injuring yourself or someone else. So that is a concern, and that's why I bring it up. But I don't expect for her to be perfect every single time. No wrestler is going to be perfect every single time. So,
No,
and
but
I'm not.
you do
Yeah,
make a fair point, though, that they're like, if we go back and we look at Stratton's run, pretty much since she got the belt off of Nia Jax, and it was really highlighted earlier with that feud with Flair, which was a train wreck. We keep seeing issues like that SmackDown that had the worst match finish ever in recent memory. Stratton was in that match.
yeah,
We see Stratton, like I think a couple weeks before that, does some sort of move out to the floor and injures herself. I mean, it's not just a case of expecting everybody to be perfect all the time. We can cite like, look, here's some issues that have been plaguing this title run with Tiffany Stratton. All whether it's the fact that she's been booked against like only two opponents multiple times, and several others that she only wrestled once. It's been kind of a shit run for her, to be perfectly honest. And some of it looks like it's stuff with Stratton. Some of it might be booking. Some of it maybe it doesn't matter, but it all orbits around Tiffany Stratton. So there is a pattern there that she is at the vortex center of. Um, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. I don't think I think she feels like she's crumbling under the pressure of trying to hold this championship and to perform. And we see her crack when she's cutting promos that are longer than 2 or 3 words. We see her crack, in the ring sometimes, botching moves. So I don't think you're making an unfair case of what we've seen from Tiffany Stratton. And I mean, we have arrived at this conclusion based on the evidence presented in front of us. None of us sat here going, well, I now have a hate boner for Tiffany Stratton, so I'm going to I'm going to try and go out of my way to look at her in the worst possible light. We're just seeing this stuff going on, and it's all Stratton related, and it hasn't worked out as well as we hoped it would, because we were marking out for Tiffany Stratton there at
yeah,
the end of her run with Nia Jax, where we wanted her to cash in Money in the Bank. So it all went downhill for us after her like really awful WrestleMania with Charlotte Flair. That match was ass. The promos leading up to it were ass. And it's just been kind of in a fucking death spiral that it can't seem to escape ever since. Now, fortunately, as you mentioned in this match, she put on a good enough match with Stephanie Vaquer, and Stephanie Vaquer looked amazing. So I said all that to say I absolutely agree with you, and I think your position is justified that there is something off with Stratton and this run of hers. I agree with you.
yeah. And it's just not a very good one. I don't know how old she is. I'm assuming that she's very young. I would say maybe 25, 26 at the most. Um, and I don't know how long she's been wrestling, so I'm not trying to talk smack about this girl at all. That is not my cup of tea. Not like personal. I'm not trying to make a personal attack on
She's
her because
26.
26. Okay, well, yeah, she's that to me. She's still a kid. Um, I don't know if she's ready to hold that belt. I think it may have been too soon in her career to give her such a prestigious belt. Um and then give her this is such a lackluster run. Um like her competition has been lackluster. It just hasn't, yeah.
No,
It
like 88% of her run has been a match with either Nia Jax or Jade Cargill. Yes, there's been
Yeah.
a handful of other opponents, but like the bulk of all of her matches have been between only two other women.
Yeah, see. So not that great. in my personal opinion. But you know, but yeah, aside from all that, this match was actually I said all that, but I don't want anyone to think that this was like a lame match. There are no lame matches here. I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you right now. There are no lame matches, in my opinion, for this PLE. It's just it's all good stuff, and this is not an exception to the rule. It really was. It really, really, truly was a good match. I just noticed that the flubs that did happen, or the mistakes that did happen, looked as if they came from Tiffany or on Tiffany's end. That's all. But that's, again, not to say that this wasn't a great match. And that I'm also not saying that she did not give Tiffany or give Stephanie a run for her money, because she did. It wasn't like it wasn't an easy win for Stephanie. Um, or an easy victory. So this was a really good match between the two. I would even be interested in watching these two again. I just I want I want to see or feel the I, confidence coming from Stratton, or else I'm going to be very concerned about any move that she does in the ring. Yeah, and that's it.
Yeah. I agree pretty much on all counts. I do feel like, despite everything we said, that was more of a commentary on Tiffany Stratton, like, and the direction her career is going than this match. But in this match, any of the minor botches were minor. Both her and Vicaire put on a pretty good match, and I admit I was concerned coming into it because it really seems like Tiffany Stratton has really only matches with like Nia Jackson, Jade Cargill. So I'm like, well, she hasn't in any part of her career that we've seen had very many, if any, matches with Stephanie Vicaire. So how's this gonna go? And I was pleasantly surprised. It went pretty darn well. And I mean, Stephanie Vicaire is on another level here. Like, she just won the women's Raw World Championship, and here she is winning Crown Jewel. Um, she seems to be absolutely fit and made for the main event spotlight. Like, she looks calm as a cucumber in there. And this is a woman who is, after the match, put on the spot when she doesn't have like a super great grasp of English just yet. She's put on the spot to, out of breath, give us a promo, and she does great.
Hmm.
Um, and I loved the way that she won it. She recently debuted like her version of a spinal tap. I think the
Ah,
major difference is that she launches it from like a reverse moonsault position, whereas the spiral tap I've seen before typically is from facing forward, and it's insane. It's like a
yeah.
corkscrew moonsault with like a double or triple twist. It's crazy,
It's so
and
good.
she nailed it. And it was a fantastically strong and definitive way to pick up this win. And then Stephanie, in the post match interview, went on to say, look, all of you have believed in me. Now I believe in me. And now I'm the women's world champion, and I'm the Crown Jewel champion. And she killed it. I think she did really, really great. Like, considering that she is from Chile and she's speaking to a largely Western audience in Australia in English. I mean, she just stepped into the spotlight and owned it. I feel like Vicaire is on the rise, and she looks like she was made for the spotlight. Like, she rises to the occasion when she's put in these top spots.
Yeah.
So I think this was booked well. I think it was an excellent match, and I'm really glad that Vicaire got the win because of all of the issues we talked about. I feel like we're hitting a point with Tiffany Stratton where she needs to lose the belt so that the spotlight's a little less on her while she hones her craft to get back to the belt. Like,
Yeah.
cool run, We now know that you are an aspiring and capable main event talent, kinda. Now hammer it out so that when you're back in that position, you can really shine with it because unfortunately, this run, for whatever reason, just hasn't been your ace.
Yeah.
At least that's my opinion. But this was a
Yeah,
fantastic match, and the right champion won, I believe, here.
I agree. I was hoping that she would win, and I was not disappointed.
Indeed. Um, After that fantastic women's crown jewel champion match, we are taken briefly to the Vision's locker room, where Paul Heyman lets both Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker know that he's very proud of them. And as far as the main event is concerned, he absolutely insists that the Bronze not help Seth Rollins. I think he said something like, if Seth at some point gets on the middle rope and turns to the back, pleading with us to come out there, don't do it. Either Cody is better or Seth is, and tonight we find out. And so the Vision has been called off. Tonight it's going to be Cody or Seth, period. Which
Yeah.
led us into the third match of the night, which is John Cena versus AJ Styles as part
Oh
of the John
my
Cena retirement tour.
god. We could
And
talk the entire podcast about this particular match. It
yeah, yeah, this was a banger. Please go ahead and give me your thoughts on this one.
yeah, I'll be brief because I don't know all the moves and I don't know if you want to go through any of that, but I'm just gonna say that this is probably actually no, this is match of the night for me. Probably for many people who saw this PLE. Um Everything that I wanted from John Cena and AJ Styles getting in the ring together one last time, everything that I wanted, they gave to me in this match. Amazing ring IQ from both gentlemen. Seasoned professionals, so you could see the experience in this match. Um, you could see the love for the love for the sport in this match. Like this was a love letter to the fans. This was a love letter to other
Yep.
wrestlers. This was a love letter to the industry, to their careers. It was just a big old mwah to everybody, and it was a giant hug from AJ Styles and John Cena. And I am so happy that I had eyeballs to see it, a brain to comprehend and understand, and a heart to love it. It was worth it. So good.
Yeah. I can't say better than you said it, and I couldn't agree more with what you just said. This was a absolute fan service. It was an in-ring masterclass, and as you phrased it, a total love letter. Not just between Cena and Styles for their storied rivalry, but to anyone who is a fan of professional wrestling for the last 20 plus years.
Yeah. This was like it was so good, y'all. It was so good. It
Yeah,
was so
both
good.
of these
Like this
men,
was a standing ovation worthy
yes. Yep.
performance.
This was match of the night, in my opinion. I know it's not the quote unquote main event, and let me not take away from when we get there the excellent main event, but this was on another level. Like this is a match that will be recorded in the history books. This could be match of the year, quite honestly. So it was definitely match of the night. Cena and Styles absolutely performed at the top of their game. Here near the end of their careers, as the announcers were quick to let us know, like obviously they remind us that this is Cena's farewell tour and he's only got 4 more dates, but they pretty much outright said that next year is going to be Styles' last year. So here
Yeah,
at
and
the
that has
end of
been
their
confirmed.
careers, here at the end of these two men's careers, they gave us their absolute best.
Yeah.
And not only did they give us a great match using all of like Cena's 5 moves of death and the greatest hits of Styles, but when, Cena would kick out of the Styles Clash and Styles would kick out of the AA, they started going deep into the playbook of every professional wrestler or nearly every professional wrestler that they've ever had a rivalry with or were allies with or great opponents with. We got to see the Coquina Clutch. We got to see a torture rack. We got to see the STFU. We got to see the crossface. We got to see the accolade. We got to see a choke slam from John Cena in homage to the Phenom. We got to see the walls of fucking Jericho as performed by John Cena. Um,
Yeah.
they were just hitting everybody's moves. We got to see an Angel's Wings from AJ Styles as a courtesy to his storied rivalry with Christopher Daniels. Um, Samoa Joe, all of the greatest hits of TNA. John Cena opens the match not only doing the normal read of the Never Seen 17, but he wrote out a very nice and classy entrance for his honored opponent, AJ Styles. This was just everything you came to see. And to top all of that off, we got to see something that you almost never see from the never seen in WWE these days. John Cena finishes the match with a roll through that typically leads to him getting into the AA position, but this time he puts AJ Styles in the tombstone pile driver position and delivers it as a homage to the phenomenal or the phenom, the Undertaker, and then he picks Styles back up to hit him with an attitude adjustment, and it's that combination of moves that finally brings this absolutely amazing match to an end. And the crowd was absolutely insane for this, and they should be. This was absolutely outstanding. There was a point where the crowd was chanting for a 619, and I don't think they had originally intended to do something like that, but these two brilliant men set it up to try and attempt it, but AJ eventually counters out of it, but it was an on the fly call to respond to what the crowd was chanting.
Yeah.
That's how
And
good these two are.
yeah, that brings up their just their ring intelligence. The IQ, man, it's just it between these two, it's just through the roof. Like,
Yep.
oh God, it was so
There
damn
was
good.
There was also, and it's worth. Normally, I don't go down the list, but this was a move. This was a series of finishers. Like Cena attempted a pedigree, um, and there was a point where Cena got Styles draped on the middle rope and hits Randy Orton's draping DDT, including the absolutely required facial gestures preceding it.
Yes.
Um, and then the crowd is chanting for an RKO, so Cena kind of slides away and starts pounding the mat, and then he delivers a freaking amazing RKO on AJ Styles, and then goes to the corner to attempt to deliver the punt. So it was just like a history tour of every opponent and every major player in the game for the last 20 years that these two men had rivalries with. It
Yeah.
was a thing of beauty. Not only was the in-ring action absolutely on another level, both of these men were really, really, really at the top of their game. But it was a total fan service, and it was, as you stated, a love letter. I hate. I don't want to skip over this one, but I was just reminded that there was a point where Cena counters the phenomenal forearm by grabbing a hold of AJ Styles and putting him into the Sister Abigail. And that was an emotional moment for everybody. And the crowd, oh, the crowd was so excellent. After he hit Sister Abigail, I believe they chanted, "Thank you, Wyatt,"
Yeah.
which was incredible. But on top of that, the crowd then pulled out all of their fireflies, and we got a couple of waves of the fireflies. This was so good. This was everything a fan of pro wrestling would want to see. And I dare say we're not going to see anything like that again anytime in the near future. This was a once in a lifetime encounter between these two men. Absolutely match of the night, possibly match of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. Ah, it was so good.
It was it was a whole different thing. It was its own thing. Like you said, we could spend the entire podcast just trying to go back and forth run this one down. But
Yeah.
the best thing I could possibly say is go anyone listening to us right now, go and watch this match. If you watch nothing else, and I would recommend that you watch the whole PLE. It was very good, but watch this match. Um, so, following that absolutely incredible event, we are brought to our fourth match of the night, which is the grudge match between the Kabuki Warriors and Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. There's been a rift in the family, the remnants of damage control, as Asuka seems to be taking over with a very abusive attitude, and Io ain't standing for it. Unfortunately, Kyrie seems to be. And what were your thoughts on this match?
This match. Well, uh, this match, I think everybody had a lot of energy, a little hype for. There was a lot of story development that kind of happened briefly, but it was good story development enough that I was definitely invested in this match. So I think I was ready to put more pressure on it, and I did. It didn't need to. It was a very good match. I am loving Asuka's heel turn. Loving it. She is psycho as shit. Um, I'm
Yeah.
loving I'm loving the new lesbian relationship between Rhea and Io. Um, it's
Oh
great
no.
represent. It's great representation. God, I there is such a vibe from those two. I know it can't be just me. Listen, if somebody, if you guys ever comment on anything ever that you hear from us, comment on this, please. Is it just me? Or is anybody else picking up on that vibe between Io and Rhea? Like, is it supposed to be like that? Is it just me and I'm just a dirty bird? Am I just a dirty bird? Or
I don't know. I
because
don't know if
I
it's
feel
intentional or not, but I'd watch that porn.
I don't know if I don't think it's intentional. I don't. But you'd watch that porn. But every time they're like talking or whatever, I'm watching it and then I'm like, do I need to leave the room? Do you guys need some? Should I look away? Oh, I'm gonna look over
Right?
here.
Every time they get too close to each other, it's like, you guys gonna make out?
Yeah, like what's happening? It's just or maybe they are doing it on purpose and they're like because they think it's funny. I don't know, but whatever the case, um, you guys make me sweat because I'm like I don't know if I'm supposed to be okay with this. Like I don't know what's happening. Um, and I don't want to objectify anybody. What are we doing? But but aside from all that, aside from all that, this was actually I had a lot of hype, a lot of hope for this match. And whenever you do that, sometimes it could end up being disappointing because you put too much on it. This was not one of those cases. I feel like I got the energy that I was hoping for is exactly what I got. And when Rhea came out, good lord, it was deafening. I'm surprised they didn't have that sound decibel thing that they put up sometimes. Um, because
It broke it when she came out. They couldn't
yeah,
show it. It blew up.
seriously, because the audience lost their shit when she came out. Understandably, right? And of course, she showed all the way out, like completely the way out. As I expected her to. But no. So going back to the actual match, this was a really good match. The Kabuki Warriors looked amazing, and Rhea and Io, not only do they work well together when they're tag teamed with each other, but they do so. They work well together when they're opponents against each other. Um, so this, like, I could watch them be a tag team for a minute. It's just both of these ladies are too giant to be in a tag team. If that makes any sense, like they're too it's like they're too big. They're too big. It's like trying to put Cody Rhodes in a tag team. You're gonna do it for a little bit, but then after that, it's gotta you're gonna have to move on. And I think they're single superstars. Like they need their own personal fucking belts because they're just that good. They're legends in the making. Um, and Oscar is a Hall of Famer in the making. Kyrie has now, before I forget, because I had made a note about this. Kyrie continues to impress the shit out of me. When she first came back, or when she first came back, I thought, like I first of all I was like she's small. I did not think that she was gonna be an impressive competitor. I was wrong. I will say that right here, right now. I was wrong. Kyrie is amazing, and every time I see her, I am more and more impressed by her in-ring work. She reminds me of a female JD McDonough in the sense that that girl puts it all out there. I made note of her finisher and how she does that elbow from space like she's like never been injured in her life. That's how she does that. And after she got injured and came back, she still does all her moves like she has never been injured in her life. And it's fantastic to see. So all four of these ladies went all in, and it was awesome. And it was kind of hard to be the match that happens after John Cena versus AJ Styles. Like
Yeah, yeah.
that also needs to be. So I was already like I had almost reached the point of exhaustion, like emotional exhaustion, just because of the match between Cena and Styles. Like I was just but then they came along and they hyped it back up. I think they did a fantastic job coming after a match like that.
Yeah, and that's a very fair point to make. This match took place after Cena and Styles, which was like a whole different thing. Like
Match of the decade.
it transcended this PLE. But on top of that, they're the match that's between that and the main event. Like
Yeah.
no
Yep.
pressure, ladies.
Yep.
But I have to agree with everything you just said. All four of these women really, really popped here. I mean, we know Rhea Ripley is like she's Rhea Bloody Ripley, right?
Yeah.
And Io
Yeah.
Sky, especially over the last year or two, has really risen to the top. Like she is everything that she says she is and more. So what I think this particular feud has really shown for us is the Kabuki Warriors in a new light. I agree, and I'm glad you made the point that Kyrie Sane is looking better than ever as an in-ring performer, right?
Yep.
Because it is like you said, like she came back, and it's like, well, she's schmoll, and like how's she going to deal with somebody like Rhea Ripley? Well, they're showing us, and in
Yeah.
a believable fashion. She's really rising to the occasion. And on top of that, Asuka as like sort of this character as like the crazy abusive, like almost BDSM, leather daddy with Kyrie is fantastic. I swear to God, if she slaps Kyrie in the face a couple more times, either Kyrie Sane is going to like turn on her or she's going to call Asuka daddy. It's one of those two. There's no in between.
I think what she's gonna end up doing, because Kyrie has the ability to give us a very uh crazy, damn near yondered looking ass character. So she might create a monster with Kyrie. Kyrie might snap and lose her shit, and then she's the craziest one of them all. You know, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. That crazy one in an anime where she just loses her shit and it's just too late. You know,
Mm.
like like you have
But
invented something scary.
well, and I say that because I want to mention like this feels I agree with you. This feels like a role Asuka was born to play. Like I think she does great as
Yeah.
like a crazy villain. And it's a different kind of crazy. Like it's not the same crazy as what like Bailey is doing right now.
No.
Like
Mm-mm.
like clinically psychologically crazy. It's that Asuka is the arbiter of chaos and no one's ever ready for her because you never know what she's going to do. And this feels like it's right up her alley. Her being like the queen of the mean girls is fantastic here.
Queen of the
And
mean. I like it.
on top of that, I would like to give a lot of credit. I mean, keep in mind that Asuka, Kairi, and Io like are very Japanese, and they are trying to convey this kind of very emotional story arc and these characters with English as a very second language, and they're killing it.
They're doing a
And
great
Sane's
job.
acting
Yes.
chops are really impressing me because, like, she does the, you know, I hope that we can get the family back together, but I'm also like the enabling victim of this abuser, and she is playing the role perfectly.
Yes.
Um, her acting chops are really showing here. Her Oscars, all of them. It's
Cause
just
I
fantastic.
here are my emotions, y'all. Like I'm for real watching Oscar and I'm thinking, yes, Oscar is amazing. I'm loving this. And then she slaps Kari and I'm like, oh no. Like,
Right, right. Like, why'd you slap the kitten? Come
why'd
on.
you do that?
And
Come
then
on,
she slaps
bro.
her. It's like so good that she slaps her and then she talks nice to her, like, good girl. And it's
Like you
like,
fucking
oh my God, this is
psycho.
insane. And Kyrie's just like, I want to be mad, but she's being nice to me now.
Like,
Maybe it was
girl.
me. Maybe
Oh
I'm the problem.
no. No, Kyrie. Here. Somebody give her a cupcake and have her go sit down over here. We'll beat up Oscar.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean the crazy thing is that it seems to slightly work, which is the problem. Um, like we did get a chance to see Raw because it aired earlier in the day. Um, and there's a rematch where Kyrie is going against Rhea, and heading into that match, Asuka slaps the fucking taste out of Sane's mouth. But
Yeah,
in the
because
match, it seems to have worked because like Kyrie came out there like her ass was on fire. She was just lit up and ready to battle. Um,
yeah.
Rhea, and in this battle, there's a point where Rhea was about to like seriously screw with Asuka, putting her through a table, and Kyrie comes to the rescue. So she saves her abuser.
Yeah.
So it's like it fucking worked. Like she has been cowed into submission by Asuka's hand of slappiness. So
Yeah.
it
Cause like
there's a
cause,
crazy storyline going on here.
cause like Kyrie is showing Oscar this huge bruise on her forehead. Like it's like a cartoon Tom
Yeah,
and Jerry
like it's big.
or like yes, or like Roadrunner huge ass bump on her forehead, man. Like Wile E. Coyote bump on her forehead. And like you could like it's blocking out the camera, right? The camera had to come around to get it. That's how big it is. And she's telling Oscar that she got it because she was trying to she protect Oscar from getting kicked or getting attacked. She remember she pushes Oscar out of the way and she takes a move for her and Oscar Oscar slapped that girl so hard that the audience was like, "Whoa!" Like they were like,
Yeah. Yeah, the
"Whoa,
audience was
come
like, "Oh."
on, wow!" They were, that's too much. Like they were,
Yeah. So, I don't know what
Australia
the
was shook.
I don't know what the end game is, but I'm here to see it because this shit between Asuka and Kairi Sane is crazy town.
Yeah,
But suffice it to say, these four women put on a really good match. And it ends up being satisfying because who you want to win wins. Near the end of the match, Rhea is able to deliver the Riptide on Kairi Sane, and then she tags in Io, who hits a flawless over the moonsault on Kairi to pick up the victory.
Yeah.
And just another really good match. I mean, it was a tough act to follow John Cena and Styles, and these ladies did admirably. It was a good
Yeah.
match.
Yeah. Agreed.
But that leads us into the final match of the night, the main event. Cody Rhodes, the undisputed WWE champion, versus Seth Rollins, the leader of the Vision, and the WWE Heavyweight Champion for the WWE Men's Crown Jewel Championship.
It's so hard not to immediately go, Cody, Cody Rhodes, Cody,
Dirty,
Cody
dirty
Rhodes.
Tom. Oh. Um, but what were your thoughts on the main event?
uh, Again, this was a night of insanity. Everything made me pretty happy. Um, this was no exception. Uh, by this point, I remember feeling this way while watching this. By this point, I kept thinking, surely this is going to be the disappointment, right? And maybe that's me. Maybe I was being a negative Nancy, but the PLEs from WWE as of late have been kind of ass. Uh, Sometimes buttered toast with ass. But so honestly, I was like, oh boy, this. I was just waiting for the shoe to drop, and it just didn't happen. This was another great match. This match
Mm-hmm.
was great because of more storytelling. There is such Seth has an amazing way of just becoming a part of any story that he feels passionate about, and I feel that he feels passionate about the storyline that he has. Many of them, but especially the storyline that he has going with Cody Rhodes. I feel like that's a very personal storyline for him, and I feel like the one that he has with Roman is another. CM Punk might also be one too, but I didn't really know their story up until CM Punk came back to WWE, so that's why I'm not really speaking on it. Um, but I did know about Cody and Romans, and Romans is probably the big one, like the one that everybody is waiting for him to finish. Like everybody's waiting for that storyline to finish because there's an answer that somebody needs to, you know what I mean? Somebody needs to have this answer, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready for it. But this, um, Cody and Seth, I've been when I knew that it was going to be those two going against each other at Crown Jewel, I was kind of meh because I felt like I had seen it. But as I was just about to say, Seth does an amazing job of investing himself into a storyline that he feels very strongly about. And this is no exception. He invested himself into this storyline, and all of a sudden, I went from meh to and almost overnight I was sold for this particular storyline, and I saw nothing but storytelling in this match, like everything, and Cody, to his credit, looked every part the quarterback, if that makes any sense. This is kind of like a Snape versus Harry Potter type thing, in the sense that, like, Cody is legit the golden boy. He is, and he's presented as such in this match. Um like he had an answer for everything that Seth was bringing to him, and you could see the frustration, the frustration on Seth's face. And I feel like a fucking knob for not realizing that this whole time he had been looking at the watch that Cody gave him. Fuck me. Um. So yeah, brr. Uh, I like that that watch came into play again. And now that I know that that's what he was looking at, then it kind of puts a
Adds
whole
a
different,
layer.
yeah, it puts a whole different perspective or another layer to the current relationship. Like, I knew that when Cody said that he thought they were friends, and Seth yelled to him that they were not friends, and he had a very emotional response to that, I knew that for some reason, somehow, some way, somewhere, that really struck a chord with Seth. And it was like this was another part of himself that he is trying to stomp out, because this is like, I don't need this guy right now. The guy that I need is the one that's dominating right now, the one that needs to save the industry or whatever it is he believes needs to happen. And after he had that confrontation with Cody, he would just have that watch on and be staring at it all the time. Like when Becky's losing her shit and he's not answering it, but he's looking at that watch. Now it all makes sense. And to have that come full circle and play into um into this match where he has tried everything, um and then he goes out of the ring and he grabs the watch and he's gonna use it. He's putting it on his hand like it's basically like brass knuckles. It's a Rolex, and he's gonna sock Cody. But then he thinks better of it, and he takes it off and he puts it on the corner, and he gets back in the ring like he's like, no, I'm gonna try to win this fair and square. And I think him inevitably using that, because he tried again. He just kept trying. He kept trying and kept trying, and Cody had an answer for everything. Again, he was quarterbacking the shit out of this match. Finally, Rollins picks up the watch and he uses it when he's about to get what's the name of the move?
Crossroads.
Thank you. That one. He's about to get Crossroads and he punches Cody in the side of the head. Now, for me, the storyline tells me that he finally decided to basically destroy that part of himself, or basically what he would consider burn that bridge, and use the watch and punch Cody in the side of the head. Amazing storytelling. That
He
is
had
what
to
inevitably.
burn it down.
There you go. Yeah, that to me is amazing storytelling, more intricate than it has any right to be for a wrestling show. Um, really good. So yeah, this deserved to be the main event. Cody did not disappoint, and again, to his credit, nor did Cody. But this was much more a story about what Seth was willing to become. And that's the thing about Seth. He is always willing and ready to do what needs to be done. Not what's popular, but what needs to be done in his eyes. And if this is what he felt needed to be done, then that's what needs to be done in the story. And it was fantastic. This was a really, really good match.
Yeah, I fully agree. In any other situation where we did not have John Cena and AJ Styles put on the match that they put on, this was match of the night. So this
Yeah.
was second match of the night, and these two guys threw everything except maybe a kitchen sink. I don't. That's the one move I don't remember seeing. Um, there was some crazy stuff that happened here. For one, the Australian audience was continuously calling Seth Rollins a wanker. And that eventually got on his nerves. And when he was outside of the ring near the announce table, he starts getting real pissed off at Wade Barrett, blaming him for it because Wade had previously on like I think the SmackDown before translated what they were saying because it was hard to the accent, it was hard to say. So he translates it. And so the Seth Rollins is mad at him and he's fighting his way past Michael Cole to try to get to Wade. And it looked like he was going to end up getting into it with Wade Barrett until Cody, reappeared and throws him back in the ring. And that was just the beginning of the insanity. I mean, we saw all kinds of stuff here. We saw them go back and forth trading their moves on one another. Cody Rhodes hitting a pedigree. We saw Seth Rollins attempting to hit the bionic elbow. We did get to see a vertebraker insanity. We got to see an avalanche crossroads. I mean, these guys were really bringing it out for this one. There
Yeah.
was a coast to coast headbutt. I've seen coast to coast. It's almost always been a drop kick, and Seth Rollins is like, nah, not crazy enough for me. So he does a flying coast to coast headbutt that looked like it might have screwed up his arm, but it was there. We saw it. Um, and these guys are just throwing it all at each other. And that watch at one point, Seth, like you mentioned, gets frustrated. He goes and gets the watch, but he puts it off in the corner because I guess he wants to see if he can he beat Cody clean. And maybe there is a degree of like, do I really have to completely burn this bridge down? Um, well, the answer is yes.
Yeah.
Ultimately, after hitting each other with damn near everything they could, there's a point where it looks like Cody is gaining momentum near the end of the match, and Rollins slinks out between Cody's legs. Cody was attempting a pedigree and crawls to the corner and, out of line of sight of the ref, grabs the watch and he's holding it towards his midsection. And he comes out of the corner like he's holding his midsection, and Cody spins him around to get a hold of him. Well, as he spins, he knocks, Seth does, he knocks the ref a little bit. And this allows Cody to get behind Seth and set him up for another crossroads, like you mentioned. And that's when he punches him with the watch like brass knuckles. And then he dispatches of the evidence and then proceeds to curb stomp Cody Rhodes and then super curb stomp Cody Rhodes off the middle rope to pick up the victory.
Stop.
Just an
First off roads.
Yeah. And I feel like he had to because Cody was not going to keep his shoulders on the mat unless he
No,
was
hell no.
murdered.
He was
And that
quarterbacking.
that was the story here, is that neither guy was going to stay down, so eventually it's going to take something like that. And so it was a decision point, not just of the outcome of that match, but like you went to great lengths to explain, this was Seth showing that, any weakness, whether it's a friendship or a former alliance, is something he will burn to the ground, burn it down, Seth Rollins, if it stands in the way of his vision.
Yeah.
And so with that, we are crowned a new Crown Jewel champion, because the defending Crown Jewel champion was Cody Rhodes from the previous year. Um, and I think, what was it? Kathy Kelly tries to come out there, and basically Rollins says, "Get out the ring, bitch. I don't need you." Um, basically said, "Shut up. I know what you're going to ask." And I think he says, you're wondering how it feels to get that monkey off my back. And the answer is better than you could possibly imagine. And then he's, calling for Triple H to hurry up and bring him his damn belt and put it on him, and then put the ring on him, and then spin him around the ring as the new champion.
Hey,
And
he said while he got that ring, if you like it, then then you should have put a ring
then you
on
should
it.
have put a ring on. Also, when he was getting the belt put on him, he's like, "That's right. You know how it goes, nice and tight." So Seth was Sething the entire time, like he was the most Seth Rollins in
The
those moments.
entire time, yes.
And we end up closing the show with Rollins still in the ring, and Stephanie McCur has entered, and it's both of your new grand. I almost said Grand Slam. It's both of your new Crown Jewel champions, Stephanie McCur and Seth Rollins, as the
Yeah.
show goes off the air. And with that said, I mean, I'm going to go ahead and give my review. This was a return to form for the WWE, especially after the mediocrity that was WrestlePalooza, their last PLE. Every single match was a banger. And honestly, John Cena, AJ Styles was one for the history books. I know that gets thrown around a lot, but this legitimately was a moment in time, like for those two men and for anybody in Perth or around the world that was watching. This was a match that is a once in a lifetime kind of thing. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you appreciate John Cena and AJ Styles for the last 25 years and the last little bit of time that we're going to have with these two men because they are goats, both of them. Um, they made history in Perth. So for me, this is a 10 of 10. 10 of 10 neck nubs, and it feels great to say it because WWE was not batting 1,000. This is
Yeah.
great, and so Crown Jewel Perth was absolutely top tier,
Yeah.
and that's my review.
Uh, surprisingly, or maybe unsurprisingly, I 100% agree with you. This was a 10 out of 10. This was 10 whole neck nubs, prepackaged and ready to go. Fantastic. This is amazing.
Yeah,
Um, and I have to give it a 10. This was fantastic, man. I don't even know what else to say. For me, just because of who these two men are, just because of who AJ Styles is, just because of who John Cena is, who they are to the industry, to wrestling as a whole, this is probably gonna be a match. And I mean, I've seen amazing matches this year. Will Ospreay is in at least three of them,
yeah,
but this is probably going to be match of the decade for me. Like and I know, I know that I'm putting my childhood, I'm putting my love for wrestling behind this, and that's why I say because of who these men are and what they represent in wrestling as a whole. I wouldn't have even known about certain things had it not been for either AJ Styles or John Cena. Like John Cena, the backbone of fucking the industry, man. So this is like this is something that if I had grandkids, I'd be showing them. Like this was phenomenal, pun intended. So that alone was all. I'm like, goddamn, we're already at 9 stars. I mean, we're already at 9 neck nubs or whatever. So what's next? What could possibly be better than this? So yeah, everything else just adds. Everything else that happened on in this PLE was just icing on an amazing cake. Like this was a fantastic show.
yeah, absolutely. And I really do hope I meant what I said. I hope this is a return to form for the WWE because
Yeah,
their PLEs have been slipping a little bit. They've had a lot of negative press. It's been falling off. And
yeah,
so to see them come back like this, I mean, I hope you can keep it up because you're showing me as a fan what you are capable of when you are firing on all cylinders and you're willing to leave it all in that ring. And that's to the entire WWE, not any specific performer. I mean, when it all goes off as intended, is booked well, produced well, thoughtful, the storylines are all good, the emotion is there, the in-ring work is there. It becomes the total package of what pro wrestling is. I don't like breaking down complete products of like, well, in the movie, the story sucked, but the cinematography was good. Well, then it sucked. Because you're not
yeah,
any one of those things. You are the combination that comes together to form a movie. And in pro wrestling, it can't be like, well, the characters are good, but the storyline's a little weak. Or, the story was good, but the in ring action sucked ass. It has to be all of those things to be a total package, to be what pro wrestling is. And this was that.
yeah,
And I'm as a fan, I couldn't be more pleased to see it. Um, I want this. I'm a fan of pro wrestling, not any one particular promotion or the other. So I want to see this from AEW. I want to see this from WWE. And when they're doing good, I want to be able to praise them for how good they're doing. And when they're not, I'll absolutely let them know. that I expected better. I've seen better, and I know you're capable of better.
Yeah.
And I do that all from a place of someone who really, really loves this product when it is firing on all cylinders.
Yep.
And I know what it's capable of being. And this is a great example of that. So, yeah, well done with Crown Jewel. Ace is high. That said, I want to thank everybody who listened for this episode, and I hope you enjoyed our coverage and review of WWE's Crown Jewel Perth. And I invite you to join us for our next podcast, which should be our return with this Friday's SmackDown. Until then, I don't think there's much left for me to do but roll the outro.
Bye, guys. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Top Tier Wrestling. We hope you enjoyed our deep dive into the latest AEW and WWE news and shows. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast so you never miss an episode. Follow us on social media for updates and to join the conversation. Until next time, everyone, remember, wrestling is always better when it's top tier.